Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Gopi Chanda Vallabha Giridharidhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharidhari.
Gopi Chanda Vallabha Giridharidhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharidhari.
Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Jaganandana
Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Jaganandana
Yamuna Vanachari Yamuna Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharidhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Jaganandana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
So also on Fridays and on Sundays for the class, we also sing this some other song, Vaishnava song. So we'll sing that. Somebody sings it to the microphone. Just for those who are watching online, they watch online. Otherwise, nobody hears anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a song about Lord Caitanya, who is Krishna himself, who appeared 500 plus years ago, and how he would get up early in the morning before sunrise, or just at sunrise, and go out on the streets and chant the holy names of the Lord. It tells people to wake up sleeping souls, and use your time to chant the names of the Lord. So we'll read it, we'll sing the song, and I'll read the translation, and it'll be clear what it is. Adi-lila aruna pura bhavaje tvichamani gora amani jage
Adi-lila aruna pura bhavaje Vijamani Gura Amani Jage
Pakata Sangmuha Loya Sate Gila Nagara Braje
Bhagata Samuha Loya Sate Gila Nagara Braje
Tatai Tatai Bajalako Ganaganatai Janjeraro
Tatai Tatai Bajala Koi Gana Gana Tahe Jajira Roy
Preme Dala Dala Sonara Anga Charane Dupura Baje
Prema Dala Dala Sonara Anga Karane Rupa Baje
Mukunda Madhava Yadava Hari Bolena Bolore Vanana Bore
Mukunda Madhava Yadava Hari Bolina Bolo Re Vadhana Bori
Vichenida Vashe Gelore Rati Divasa Sharira Saje
Michinida Bas Giluri Rati Divasa Sari Rasaje
Emana Durlaba Manava Deho Payaki Kora Bhavana Keho
Emana Durlabha Manava Deho Payaki Koro Bhavana Keho
Evina Bajile Yashoda Sutta Charame Pori Velaje
Evena Bhajali Ashuda Sutta Karame Puri Bilaje
Udita Tapana Hoile Asta Dina Kela Bole Hoile Vyasta
Udina Tapana Hoile Asta Dina Jilo Boli Hoi Bibyasta
Tabe Kelo Ebe Alasa Hoi Nabajan Hridoya Raje
Tabekino Ebe Alasa Hoi Na Bhaja Hiri Doya Raje
Jivana Anitya Jana Hasar Tahenana Vida Vipadavar
जीवन अनित्य जन हसान ताहि नाना विधा विपदा पार
Namashwaya Kore Jatane Tume Takaha Apana Kaje
नमस्राया कुरी जतने तुमी तखह अपन काजे
Jivera Kalyana Sadhana Kam Jagate Asi E Madhurya Nam
जीवेर कलियन सदन काम जागते असी मधुराना
Avidyate Viratapana Rupe Hridane Viraje
अविद्यति मेरा तपन रूपे हृदय गगन बिरा अजे
Krishna Nama Shudakore Yapan Jurayo Bhakti Vinoda Pran
कृष्ण नाम सुधा कोरिया पान जुराओ भक्त भक्ति विनोद पान प्राण
Namapina Kichu Nahiko Aro Choda Bhuvana Maje
नाम बिना किछु नहीं को आरो छाउड भुवन माजे
Translation. When a tinge of red on the eastern horizon heralded the sunrise, the jewel of the twice born, Lord Gaurasundar, that's Lord Chaitanya, immediately awakened. Taking his devotees with him, he went all over the countryside, visiting the towns and villages of Nadia. The mridangas resounded, "Tattai, tattai," and the cymbals chimed in time. And Lord Gauranga's footbells jingled as his golden form trembled slightly in ecstatic love of God. Lord Chaitanya called out to the townsfolk, "You spend your nights uselessly sleeping and your days decorating your bodies. Now just fill your mouths with the vibration of the holy names, Mukunda, Madhava, Yadava, Hari, chanting without offense. You have achieved the rare human body. Don't you care for this gift? If you do not serve the darling of Yashoda," that's Krishna, "now great sorrow awaits you at death. Each time the sun rises and sets, a day passes and is lost. Then why do you remain idle and refuse to serve the Lord of the heart? Understand this essential fact. Life is temporary and full of all kinds of miseries. So take shelter of the holy name as your only business. Desiring to bless all souls, the sweet name of Krishna has descended to the material world and now shines like the sun in the sky of the heart, destroying the darkness of ignorance. Drink the pure nectar of the holy name of Krishna and thus satisfy the soul of Bhakti-Vinod. There is nothing but the holy name within all the 14 worlds. 14 worlds is 14 planetary systems within the universe. There's nothing but the holy name within the whole universe. This is the most important. So Sundays we read from the Caitanya-caritamrita. I don't have the paper, the physical book for this particular volume that we're on, so we'll utilize this. Otherwise, we use books. I'll just read, and I can make some comments here and there as needed. We're starting a new chapter, actually. This chapter is called Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So like I said, Lord Chaitanya is actually Krishna himself, directly. So that's what this chapter is about. Sri Chaitanya Prabhu Vande Valo Piyananugrahat Tarinana Matagraha Yaptam Siddhanta Sagaram. I offer my obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by whose mercy even an ignorant child can swim across the ocean of conclusions about the ultimate truth, which is full of the crocodiles of various theories. Srila Prabhupada's purport. By the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even an inexperienced boy with no educational culture can be saved from the ocean of nescience, which is full of various types of philosophical doctrines that are like dangerous aquatic animals. The philosophy of the Buddha, the argumentative presentations of the Jnanis, the yoga systems of Patanjali and Gautama, and the systems of philosophers like Kanada, Kapila, Dattatreya, are dangerous creatures in the ocean of nescience. By the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one can have real understanding of the essence of knowledge by avoiding these sectarian views and accepting the lotus feet of Krishna as the ultimate goal of life. Let us all worship Lord Chaitanya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for his gracious mercy to the conditioned souls. So all those personalities, Kanada, Kapila, Dattatreya, Patanjali, Gautama, there in India there are 6 basic categories of knowledge. There's logic, there's yoga, several different ones. But all of them, practically speaking, all of them, they do not come to the conclusion that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. In the path of logic, the goal is just to argue for the sake of arguing. Each opponent tries to, prove that whatever they're arguing about, prove that they are right. But no one's actually really looking for the real truth. No one's actually looking for the truth in that particular path. It's more of a competition to see who can defeat the other in argument. But the goal is not actually to find the real truth. And Kapila, mentioned here, there are 2 Kapilas. There's the one Kapila Dev, Lord Kapila Dev, who appeared in Satya Yuga. It was a few million years ago. I don't know exactly, Satya Yuga. He appeared and he taught the system called Sankhya, the Sankhya philosophy. He analyzed so many things in the material world, but the conclusion of Sankhya is to surrender to the supreme personality of Godhead, to engage in devotional service. That was the conclusion of Sankhya. So therefore, devotional service and Sankhya are really almost the same thing. The conclusion is the same. The conclusion is devotional service. But the Kapila that's mentioned in this purport is an imposter Kapila. He came sometime after the original one did. And he also taught a Sankhya philosophy, analyzing the material world. The difference was that the original Kapila, he mentioned 26 elements, he says. 24 of the material elements, and then plus the soul and the super soul. The soul and super soul, then service, because we are the small soul, God is the super soul, and we have relationship as devotional service. But the Kapila is mentioned here, which is being criticized. He did a big analysis of the material world, but he did not accept the soul. He did not accept the super soul. He did not accept God. He did not accept the eternal soul, the servant of God. He did not accept. So therefore, that path is also bad. And then this yoga system usually ends up trying to develop mystic powers, which is just a waste of time. So many things were there. So the point is that all these other endeavors are basically useless. The only one which is actually will give eternal perfect benefit is to engage in the Lord's devotional service. And that's Lord Chaitanya's conclusion. One must engage in devotional service. All these other paths are basically just a waste of time. So going on. Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Kava Pato Jani Vati Chita Sadbhakta Valihamsa Chakra Madhupa Shrina Vihara Padam Karnanandi Kala Ravanir Matume Shiva Marupam Kane Sri Caitanya Dayadine Tava Lasa Lila Shuddha Swarjuni. O my merciful Lord Chaitanya, may the nectarian Ganges water of your transcendental activities flow on the surface of my desert-like tongue. Beautifying these waters are the lotus flowers of singing, dancing, and loud chanting of Krishna's holy name, which are the pleasure abodes of unalloyed devotees. These devotees are compared to swans, ducks, and bees. The rivers flowing produces a melodious sound that gladdens their ears. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Our tongues always engage in vibrating, useless sounds that do not help us realize transcendental peace. The tongue is compared to a desert, for the desert needs a constant supply of refreshing water to make it fertile and fruitful. Water is the substance most needed in the desert. The transient pleasure derived from mundane topics of art, culture, politics, sociology, dry philosophy, poetry, and so on is compared to a mere drop of water, because although such topics have a qualitative feature of transcendental pleasure, they are saturated with the modes of material nature. Therefore, neither collectively nor individually can they satisfy the vast requirements of the desert-like tongue. Despite crying in various conferences, therefore, the desert-like tongue continues to be parched. For this reason, people from all parts of the world must call for the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who are compared to swans swimming around the beautiful lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or bees humming around his lotus feet in transcendental pleasure, searching for honey. The dryness of material happiness cannot be moistened by so-called philosophers who cry for Brahman, liberation, and similar dry speculative objects. The urge of the soul proper is different. The soul can be solaced only by the mercy of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his many bona fide devotees who never leave the lotus feet of the Lord to become imitation Mahaprabhus, that all cling to his lotus feet like bees that never leave a honey-soaked lotus flower. Sri Chaitanya's movement of Krishna consciousness is full of dancing and singing about the pastimes of Lord Krishna. It is compared herein to the beautiful waters of the Ganges, which are full of lotus flowers. The enjoyers of these lotus flowers are pure devotees who are like bees and swans. They chant like the flowing of the Ganges, the river of the celestial kingdom. The author desires such sweetly flowing waves to cover his tongue. He humbly compares himself to a materialistic person who, although always engaged in dry talk from which they derive no satisfaction, if they were to use their dry tongues to chant the Hare Krishna, the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, as exemplified by Lord Chaitanya, they would taste sweet nectar and enjoy life. So, So this is a very nice analogy. Very nice analogy. The person is feeling. Generally, people in the material world feel a lot of dissatisfaction. We all have some dissatisfaction. Therefore, we're always striving and hankering, trying in so many ways to do something which is very meaningful to us. And if we find something like that, then in due course of time, there will be some problem, some obstacle. So, but here it's described that when one becomes pure, we can realize, if we become pure, we can realize the real taste of the Lord's holy name, chanting the holy name. Because Krishna's names are non-different from Krishna. We could say God is great. God is great. How is he great? One of the ways that God is great is that he and his name, or names, he has many names, are non-different. So you can imagine, we want, or should want, to be able to associate with God, so that people just say, show me God. Make God come before me, then I'll believe in him. But God appears before us. So sometimes someone may demand like that, but we cannot make God appear before us. We cannot make him appear before us. But if we chant God's holy names, we are actually in contact with God, because God is not different from his name. So we chant, we always chant the Hare Krishna mantra, or other names of God. We chant these names of God, and because God is not different from his name, he's the same as his name, right? Then by saying Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, then we are directly in contact with the Supreme Lord. And because God is pure, he's pure, and he's antiseptic, you may say. So whatever dirty place, this is our mind, God appears by our chanting the holy names. Whatever place like that he appears, then he will clean it. He'll purify it. Right. So that therefore those who are practicing Krishna consciousness. Those who are actually practicing Krishna consciousness, can need to every day chant regularly a certain number of rounds of the Hare Krishna mantra. We chant or use our japa beads. Whatever you chant. Within ISKCON, at least if we want to be initiated, chant at least 16 times, 16 rounds. 6 of these, the holy names, the Hare Krishna mantra. 108 times on each string of beads, and then at least 16 times around every day. This is a vow that we take. We're actually practicing seriously this spiritual path. And by that chanting, we become purified of material desire. It's a gradual process, but it works. It works. And then of course we avoid certain activities so that our chanting will become more effective. our path and any spiritual path, any religious path. Really, the teaching is there to avoid certain activities: illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, and animal slaughter, which includes eating meat. If you want to have practice any kind of spiritual life and make any advancement, then you have to be vegetarian. You cannot be, because one very important factor in becoming, realizing God is to be non-violent. And if we're eating meat, then we're in essence, we're slaughtering the animal. There's no difference between eating a hamburger or meat and going out and taking a knife and killing the animal, or kind of shooting the animal. It's all part of the process, because anyone who has any part to take, to play in that activity is implicated. See? Anyway, this is our path is that we avoid eating meat, sex, intoxication, and gambling. And we go on, and that way we don't further implicate ourselves in sinful activities. And at the same time, we chant the Hare Krishna mantra. And by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, then the thousands and millions and billions of years, previous lifetime of karma that we've accumulated by our improper activities, this is all being washed away by that chanting. Okay? Another verse. We have about 10 minutes. We can go. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Sri Nityananda. All glories to Advaita Chandra, and all glories to the devotees of Lord Gauranga. Tritiya Shlokera Arta Kare Vimarana Vastu Nirdesha Rupa Mangulacharana. Let me describe the meaning of the third verse of the third verse of the first 14. It is an auspicious vibration that describes the absolute truth. Yadadvaiting Brahmo. I won't read the thing over it here. Let's just go forward with the translation. What the Upanishads describe as the impersonal Brahman is but the effulgence of his body, and the Lord known as Supersoul is but his localized plenary portion. Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, full with 6 opulences. He is the absolute truth, and no other truth is greater than or equal to him. Purport. This is a very long purport. Maybe I'll just speak a little something and then I'll look for questions. God has many, aspects to God. There are different levels of God realization. There's Brahman realization. That's what someone might say the white light. Which some people think that the white light, that the Brahmanic effulgence like that, is the highest perfection. But no. That is simply the effulgence from Krishna's body. The whole spiritual world is lit up because of the effulgence of Krishna's body. And so that's called Brahman. And then there's Paramatma, another partial realization of the Lord. Paramatma means God in the heart, the super soul. And the super soul is very important because when we came to the material world out of rebelliousness to the Lord, we came to this material world. We were basically made to come here because of our desire. But Krishna didn't just say, okay, you're going in there and you just flounder around on your own until I tell you, and he just forgets about it. No, Krishna actually has come as super soul in the heart of every single one of us, every living entity, not just humans. The dogs, the cats, the trees, the insects, every living entity has God with him. He doesn't realize that he's there. God is with him in that body, along with the soul. So we also have God in the area of our heart. And in fact, it's the super soul that is actually our intelligence. It's not the brain. The brain maybe is the body uses the brain, but basically our intelligence comes from God in our heart, giving us knowledge. And if we become very pure, then we can have perfect knowledge. In fact, if we become completely pure, or come to full realization of God in the heart, then we can even see in the future. We can understand everything past, present, or future because God knows these things and He can reveal it to us. But that's a very advanced stage, Paramatma realization. So anyway, God he appears as Brahman, just as effulgence, as a Paramatma who is localized here, and giving his intelligence what to do and what not to do, even though we don't tend to listen. And then there's Bhagavan realization. Bhagavan means Krishna in his original form. Bhagavan literally means one who has 6 opulences in full. 6 opulences in full. What are those opulences? Beauty, fame, strength, knowledge, renunciation.
Wisdom.
Huh?
Wisdom.
It's knowledge.
Knowledge.
Yeah,
There
knowledge.
6.
Fame, strength, knowledge. Wealth.
Wealth.
Renunciation. And so on. So 6 opulences. So God has everything. God is God is most intelligent. No one knows or can think or analyze anything bigger than God can. He can understand everything. God understands every detail about everything in His whole creation, which is everything. So God is the most intelligent. God is the most famous. Even if someone doesn't believe in God, they certainly have heard about God. There's no one more famous than God. And God is the most beautiful. God's creation, parts of it are very beautiful. So what to speak of the creator of everything? He's the most beautiful. Strength. Krishna is so strong. Without any endeavor, he can do anything. We're just reading now Srimad Bhagavatam maybe a few weeks back, how the Lord he said, actually it wasn't him personally, it was Garuda, his carrier, who was not as strong as him, but who carried a whole mountain, or in the Ramayana, Hanuman actually broke off a mountaintop and carried it to in one place. So the Lord is very unlimitedly strong. You can't imagine how strong God is. Krishna 5,000 years ago, as a little child, held Govardhan Hill on his little finger for 7 days and 7 nights without any strain. We can't even hold a rock. we can't even hold our hand up in the air like this for 7 days without, even without anything on it. But God is so strong that without any endeavor, he was able to do that. And so on. And God is very renowned because he has everything, and he's not attached to anything. He's just renounced. So like that. So these are 6 opulences. I should ask if there's any questions because you have to stop the class around 8:30 or so. Questions, comments?
Any question? There sometimes people said, why the holy name not different from Supreme Personality of Godhead?
Why is the holy names
Not different. Sometimes people said, that why holy names not different from Supreme Personality of Godhead?
more difficult?
Not different. You said the holy name, it's like not different or...
Not different, yes.
Yeah. But the question is, why it's not different?
Oh, why is it not different?
Yeah.
Because, that's just the absolute nature of Krishna. It's part of how Krishna is great. We, in the material world, there's duality. So we are different. We are different from our name. Water is different from actual water is different from the word water, right? But it's just the nature of God, the absolute platform, spiritual platform. If that his name, the name of something, and the substance is not different. That's a spiritual energy. It's like it. So Krishna and his name are not different. Krishna's name are not different for that reason. This is actually the nature of in the spiritual atmosphere. That's how things are. The spiritual atmosphere, you just desire something, and immediately it becomes. It's there for you by the Krishna's mercy. So maybe we can't understand these things, but we can experience it if we become very attentively chant the holy names of the Lord. And in time, we will become detached from material things, right? Because we're getting purified, and we'll become attached to Krishna. Actually, we'll develop pure love for Krishna in due course, just by that chanting, because his name and himself are not different. Does that help?
Yes. And also they said Lord Chaitanya came to give this holy name from Kali Yuga.
Yes. Every age, the Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. For each age, there's some method for self-realization, some method by which the people in general can realize God. According to some method, according to what the people at that time, the general public at that time can handle. So, previous age, previous ages there was, Satya Yuga, there was the yoga system. But we can't realize God through that yoga system now. There's so many problems in doing this. Another age, there was huge sacrifices, fire sacrifices. But we do these things, you can't really realize God just like that. Now, another age, then the process was deity worship. And the people in the whole society work together to serve the deity in the temple, in some deity temple. That was the process of self-realization. But imagine now trying to get all the people in Miami to come together and offer service for our deities here. It won't happen. But in Kali Yuga, the method is chanting the holy names of God. That's the method. And anyone can chant. Anyone can chant. Even a little child can say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So anyone can chant. And so that is a process that Lord Caitanya gave for this age. A method that anyone can do to realize God. You still have to do it, but anyway, it's doable by anyone. Questions? Okay.
I have questions
Yes.
for this guest, You from what part of India?
Hyderabad.
Did you hear Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Lord Chaitanya?
No.
Lord Nityananda?
But Nityananda, I heard about.
You know Nityananda, but Lord Chaitanya don't know.
No.
Здесь Caitanya-caritamrita, поставим Lord Chaitanya и Nityananda. You should be read Prabhupada books and will be know Lord Chaitanya. Haribu.
Comment. It's very interesting how Srila Advaita Acharya and Lord Nityananda are non-different from Krishna. Yes. Yes, it's a fact. That's a whole other subject in itself. We're out of time now. Yes. Lord Chaitanya and his personal associates, they're considered, they're individuals, but they're also, they cannot really be separated. Caitanya-caritamrita one upcoming chapters is called Lord Chaitanya in 5 Features. So we have Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, Advaita, Gadadhar, and Srivas. The philosophy is very deep. The philosophy is very deep. During the week we study mostly Srimad Bhagavatam. Sundays we have Caitanya-caritamrita, which is more elevated. So this philosophy is deep, but if we study it and we try to follow the teachings, then we can make so much spiritual benefit and elevate ourselves towards going back home, back to the spiritual world. We don't aspire to go to heavenly planets or increase our material situation here. That's a waste of time. Even the heavenly planet, we can live for billions of years on some of those planets. Billions of years, trillions of years on some planets. But in time, your period is used up, and you have to fall back down to earth. That's like when you have a big bank balance and you go on a big vacation, and then when you're in due course of time, you use up all your money, and you have to go back home. So So it's like that. You can go to the heavenly planets, and you can enjoy for a long time, but eventually you have to fall back down to the material, to earth, and become, still have to become Krishna conscious and try to go back home, back to God. Okay? So we have to end here for now, but every day at this time, every day at 7:45 we have a class. And if you get a chance to come, please come. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.